Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The Cook County State Attorney's race still too close to call, as Mike Scott's been reporting. 99% of precincts reporting, and you've got about a 9,000 vote lead for retired Judge Eileen Burke, with about 100,000 mail-in votes to count.
To be precise, 109,000 mail-in ballots have to be counted, which I don't think is going to fare well for Burke.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably right.
And bring Chicago home, it's only 23,000 vote difference, so that could go a different way, too, with these mail-in ballots. I wish we could do old school like we used to have, just Election Day.
Back in the good old days.
Yes.
Yeah, right, simpler times. Well, it wasn't so close for some of these, although it was, for some school referendum, like in District 87, which is less than 90 votes as last reporting, with mail-in ballots to be counted there. That's $187 million bond issue there, just massive. In Wilmette, Illinois, part of New Trier Township, part of the enlightened class, the smartest, richest, most talented people the world has ever seen.
Because they let you know.
That's how we know.
They tell you.
Yeah, that's how we know. And the posture has usually been, there have been some exceptions over the year, I recall. Occasionally a New Trier referendum goes down, probably because it wasn't big enough, then it's made bigger, it's put on the ballot again the next cycle, and it passes. But it's rare when a school referendum goes down, and by the margin it did in the local school district in Wilmette, which is Avoca, it's like 3-1 against. Look, I don't want to level the charge that normally would come from the League of Women Voters or the local union. But, what happened? Wilmette doesn't care about kids anymore? Doesn't care about schools? Is not interested in having the best education for the best and the brightest? I'm positively nonplussed, as you can imagine. To help us understand what the hell is going on in Wilmette, we're pleased to be joined by Cristina Burke, who is a Wilmetian, as I understand it, and was involved in opposing this referendum. In fact, I think she was one of the leaders of the opposition to this bond issue. Cristina, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So what gives?
So just to, first of all, just to let everyone know, so it is a school. The Avoca district covers 4 different suburbs within our area: Glenview, Northfield, Wilmette, and Winnetka. So it's a pretty diverse group as far as homes and neighborhoods in that way. And so we learned about this referendum, and it was actually 3 people who had started looking into it once it was announced and saw what some of the implications were and exactly what they wanted to do. And little by little, people started talking to each other, and a group formed, and we just started doing our research to learn more about what was going on. And a lot of people thought there were just too many unanswered questions, and we just didn't feel like we had enough information to make an informed decision, because there were so many unanswered questions. Also, the bond was for $89.8 million, and we thought that was a lot of money for such a small school district. We have less than 700 children in our entire district. The new building they wanted to build is less than 400 children in that particular building. And so we wanted to, we thought that we just didn't have enough answers to understand why it needed to cost that much money. And as far as safety is concerned, of course, we care about our children's safety. The school, I mean, if I could go back, what they really wanted to do was to close a little school, the school of Avoca West, which is in the Glenview part of the district and rebuild a new school over in the Wilmette part of the district. And we did the tours of the school, and we saw it. We just didn't feel that it was warranted to build a new building at this point.
And they did. They wanted to be like walking distance to the beach, or why? What was the need to move to Wilmette?
What they said was that the building at Avoca West was old, and that it would be too expensive to update it, and that it would just basically just be pushing the ball down the road to have to do it later on. And when we looked at the school, and a lot of the schools in our area, those schools are even older than ours, and they are refurbishing them, and the children are learning fine there. So why they want to move it over to Murphy, we don't know exactly all the facts on what prompted that. They do want to sell the property that the school is on right now, and which was another concern for us, especially the people who live here in this area, because we don't know what would go in there. There was some talk of right of first refusal. I'm sorry?
No, like maybe like a casino or a marijuana dispensary.
Well,
yeah. No.
Well, we just don't know. I mean, we are a residential area, but, we just weren't sure. And that was something else that gave us pause, because they really couldn't tell us what the possibilities were of what would go on that piece of property. They told us what they would like to go in there, but they couldn't guarantee that, and they couldn't tell us what the other options could be. And so that, I think, gave a lot of people pause as well.
And we're talking big money. I mean, if you have a $600,000 home, it would have been almost $2,000 more a year, and $44,000 over the 25-year duration of the bond.
Yes,
that's a lot of money.
And
wow,
it is a lot. It is
a lot of money. You can't put a price tag on education. Yeah.
So it is a lot of money, and we, and as you can imagine, because we do draw from Winnetka and Wilmette and Northfield, that some of the homes are significantly more, have a higher value than $600,000, and those homes we're looking at, upwards of $12,000 to $15,000 tax increase per year for 25 years. So I do think that was a big motivator for people to come out and vote yesterday. And also we have seniors on fixed incomes. They've lived here for 40, 50 years. They've raised their children here. This is their home. This is their entire life was here. Much of their adult life was here. And another tax increase could cause them to have to think about moving. And so that was another concern for people. So there were a lot of different reasons, I believe, that people moved out, or not people moved out, but people came out to vote yesterday.
Yeah, a 3-to-1 margin is
That's a big deal.
sizable. So, especially on a bond issue, with all the sort of good feeling that schools usually have in the community too, because it's clearly a repudiation of the leadership of the school, at least their judgment call on this one. And I wonder if you and others have now changed your view of the leadership of this school district, the school board, as well as the administrators. They were so far afield from where the electorate is. And as you said, you listened, you heard them out, you took a look at what they were suggesting, and it didn't make any sense to you. So what does that say about the leadership of the school district and maybe the need to see change there?
Yes, so there has been some talk. There's definitely obviously was talk about that, and people, once they started seeing this information, really questioning that, because it looked from some of the information and the feedback that the school board got. They knew that there was evidence that people did not want this particular option that was offered, and they went with it anyway. And I don't know if they just didn't calculate, just how much people would be against something like this. But yes, I think there definitely needs to be a discussion with them, and some evaluation, and people deciding where we go from here with regard to that. But it's important to stay on top of these things. I think that's something we've definitely learned, the entire group, that we need to really pay attention to what our local government officials are talking about and decisions that they're making, and working to stay more informed.
Yeah, that is a good takeaway. Cristina Burke is a parent up in Wilmette in the Avoca School District. She was one of the leaders in the opposition to the bond issue referendum that went down by a remarkable 3-1 margin last night. Cristina Burke, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much. And I just want to thank everyone who worked so hard on this group. We had an amazing group of people that worked tirelessly hours and hours to get the vote out. Just want to make sure everybody knows it was a very strong group effort.
Good. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Don't go to sleep. Keep that group functioning. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements